Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into the world of stablecoins.
Oh, yeah.
And, especially this fascinating new development.
Hmm.
It's called the Global Dollar Network,
Okay, yeah.
EDN for short.
I've heard about this.
You sent over some articles about it,
Right.
and there's stablecoin USDG.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and honestly, it seems like it could be big.
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz around it for sure.
So we'll be looking into two main things.
Okay.
First, stablecoins in general.
Hmm.
What they are,
Right.
how they work,
Yeah.
and the potential they have,
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then second,
Okay.
we'll really deep dive into the Global Dollar Network, the
Yeah.
GDN.
Looking forward to that.
You know who the players are,
Hmm.
what exactly USDG is, and why this could be, a really big deal.
For sure.
Okay,
Okay.
so stablecoins, I think they're kind of like the calm in the middle of the crypto storm.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
For people who might be hesitant about cryptos,
Volatility.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The ups and downs, stablecoins seem like a good entry point.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, stablecoins are the first step into the crypto world.
So help us break this down.
Sure.
What exactly are stablecoins?
Well, at their core, stablecoins are cryptocurrencies.
Okay.
But unlike Bitcoin or Ethereum,
Right.
their value is pegged to something stable,
Okay.
usually a fiat currency like the US dollar.
Okay.
So the idea is to combine the benefits of crypto.
Like the speed and, low cost.
Exactly. Speed, low cost, global reach
Mm.
with the stability of traditional currencies.
Okay, so it's like having your cake and eating it too.
You could say that. Yeah.
You get the security of a familiar currency, but with all the advantages of digital transactions.
Exactly. The best of both worlds.
So how many types of stablecoins are there?
Well, there are four main types.
Okay.
The most common are fiat-backed stablecoins, like Tether, USDT, or USD coin, USD. These are backed by reserves of fiat currency,
Got it.
held by a financial institution.
Okay.
Then you have crypto-backed stablecoins.
Mm.
These are backed by other cryptocurrencies, like DAI, for example.
Got it.
Then there are algorithmic stablecoins.
Okay. These sound complicated.
They can be, yeah.
Yeah.
They use algorithms to maintain their peg,
Mhm.
like FRAX.
Interesting.
And lastly, there are commodity-backed stablecoins.
Okay.
These are backed by physical assets,
Hmm.
like gold, for example.
Okay, interesting.
One example is Pax Gold, PAXG.
Okay, so that would be like...
You can own a digital representation of gold without having to worry about storing it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
it sounds like stablecoins aren't just for crypto enthusiasts.
Definitely not.
They have the potential to revolutionize
Everyday transactions.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about it. Stablecoins offer stability amidst the crypto market's fluctuations.
Right.
You can transact globally, 24/7.
That's a good point. It's way faster than bank transfers.
And cheaper.
Yeah, that's true.
It's also a way for people without bank accounts to access financial services.
Yeah, that's a huge point.
And the use cases are pretty diverse,
Okay.
from DeFi to remittances,
Mm.
even things like e-commerce.
Wow, so it's like a whole financial system in the making.
It's definitely changing the landscape.
So let's talk about the Global Dollar Network.
Okay.
This is the GDN.
Right.
It was launched by some really big names.
Yeah. Big players.
Robinhood, Kraken,
Yeah.
Paxos.
Right.
This isn't just some small project.
Definitely not.
They're creating a platform to accelerate stablecoin adoption.
And they're focusing on real-world use cases.
Okay, so like what?
Things like cross-border transactions,
Oh.
everyday payments.
Got it. Things like that.
So right now, it's invite only.
Yeah.
They're working with partners like Anchorage,
Hmm.
Galaxy Digital, Bullish, Nuvei.
It's a pretty exclusive group. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
It seems like they're really trying to build something solid.
Absolutely. They're taking a very strategic approach.
Okay, so their stablecoin is called USDG,
Right.
and it seems like they've really designed it to be stable.
Yeah, stability is paramount.
Yeah, but also fast.
Mm.
And they're really targeting institutional investors.
Yes, they're trying to appeal to both individuals and institutions.
So what makes USDG so unique?
Well, one of the key features is the yield incentives.
Okay, what's that?
Users and institutions can earn rewards just by holding USDG.
Oh, wow.
It's a way to make it attractive for investors.
That's interesting.
They also leverage the Ethereum blockchain for fast and cost-effective transactions, which is great for cross-border payments.
So you're saying it's cheaper and faster than traditional methods.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they're also really emphasizing institutional appeal and compliance.
Oh,
They're partnering with DBS Bank in Singapore to manage the USD reserves.
okay, so what does that mean for, like, regular people?
Well, it means there's a lot of credibility behind USDG.
So,
DBS Bank is a major player in the financial world. So their involvement gives investors a lot of confidence.
okay, that makes sense.
It shows that traditional finance is taking stablecoins seriously.
So it's not just a fringe thing anymore.
Not at all.
It's becoming more mainstream.
It definitely seems that way.
Okay, so the DBS Bank partnership,
Yeah.
I mean, they're the largest bank in Southeast Asia.
Right.
They're managing USDG's cash reserves.
That's a big deal.
This could really pave the way for more collaboration between traditional banking.
And the crypto world.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Like, remember when I tried to send money overseas a while back?
Oh, yeah.
It was such a hassle.
It can be.
Forms, fees, it took forever.
I've been there.
If stablecoins can make that easier,
Yeah.
that would be incredible.
It would be a game changer.
Yeah.
For sure.
Especially for people who don't have access to traditional banking.
Exactly.
Or, if your local currency is unstable.
It opens up a lot of possibilities.
So USDG and other stablecoins
Yeah.
are aiming to provide faster, cheaper, and more accessible cross-border transactions.
That's the goal.
Wow. Imagine sending money overseas instantly
Hmm.
with low fees using USDG
It could revolutionize remittances.
and global payments.
Exactly.
This could change everything.
It's a very exciting prospect.
And businesses could benefit too, right?
Of course.
I mean, imagine global businesses using stablecoins.
They could manage their supply chains, pay suppliers, receive payments,
Yeah.
all much faster and cheaper than traditional methods.
That's
It
incredible.
could really streamline global commerce.
So we're talking about making global commerce faster, cheaper,
Yeah.
more inclusive.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
It's a powerful concept.
And USDG seems like it's in a good position to make this happen.
Yeah, with its strong backing and its focus on real-world applications.
But it's not just payments, right?
Yeah.
Stablecoins are also becoming important in DeFi.
Decentralized finance.
Yeah, DeFi.
Yeah, it's a rapidly growing space.
I've heard the term, but I don't really understand it.
Sure, it's basically a parallel financial system built on blockchain technology.
Okay.
It aims to recreate traditional financial services,
Hmm.
like lending, borrowing,
Well,
investing, but in a decentralized way.
so no banks involved.
Exactly, no intermediaries.
Wow.
And stablecoins are becoming a key part of this ecosystem.
So instead of going to a bank for a loan,
Right.
I could use a DeFi platform and borrow stablecoins.
Directly from other users
Yeah.
using smart contracts.
Wow, that's a whole new world.
It is.
And USDG could play a big role in this.
With its unique features, it's well-positioned to be a popular asset in DeFi.
Wait, you said unique features.
Yeah.
We already talked about what makes a stablecoin stable,
Right.
but what else makes USDG stand out?
Well, they've added some interesting features to make it appealing to both individuals and institutions.
Okay, I'm curious. Tell me more.
One of the key features is the yield incentives.
Okay, we talked about that.
Yeah, so users and institutions can earn rewards just by holding USDG.
Right.
It's a way to incentivize adoption
Okay.
and attract investors.
So my USDG holdings could actually earn a return.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Especially with how low interest rates have been lately.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Traditional savings accounts aren't offering much.
So this could be a good alternative.
Potentially, yes.
And what else?
Another key aspect is that USDG leverages the Ethereum blockchain,
Okay.
which is known for its speed and efficiency. So transactions are fast and cheap.
So not all blockchains are created equal?
No, they definitely have different strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
Ethereum is a good choice for a stablecoin aiming for mainstream adoption.
So if I'm sending money overseas with USDG,
Yeah,
it should arrive almost instantly
that's the goal.
and without huge fees.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It's a significant improvement over traditional methods.
So we've got the backing of DBS Bank, the yield incentives,
Right.
the speed and efficiency of Ethereum.
Yeah.
Seems like USDG has a lot going for it.
They've definitely covered a lot of bases.
But what about regulation?
That's a crucial aspect.
Yeah, the crypto world is kind of like the Wild West.
It can be, yeah.
How is USDG addressing regulatory concerns.
Well, the fact that it's fully backed by USD reserves, held by a reputable institution like DBS Bank,
Right.
that goes a long way in terms of transparency and trust.
Okay.
They're clearly committed to compliance.
So it's not just about the technology.
Yeah.
It's about building a system that's stable, transparent, and compliant.
Exactly.
That's really important for attracting institutional investors.
And for wider adoption.
Okay, so the GDN is trying to build a whole ecosystem.
Yeah, it's not just about USDG. It's about creating a platform for stablecoins to flourish.
All right, I think it's time to dive deeper into the GDN itself.
Let's do it.
Who are the key players and what's their vision?
We'll get into all of that next. So the Global Dollar Network, the GDN.
Right, the GDN.
It's really aiming to be much more than just another crypto project.
Okay, in what way?
Well, they want to create a robust ecosystem for stablecoins like USDG.
Okay.
And what's interesting is they're not trying to control everything themselves.
Yeah.
It's designed as an open platform where different players can collaborate.
So kind of like a meeting of the minds.
Yeah, exactly.
Bringing together people from traditional finance and the crypto world.
Yeah, and some really big names are involved.
Like who?
Well, we already mentioned DBS Bank.
Right. They're managing the USDG reserves.
Yeah, and then you've got the founding members.
Okay.
Companies like Robinhood, Kraken, Paxos.
Wow, those are some major players.
They each bring their own unique expertise to the table.
So how does that collaboration actually work?
Well, think of it as a team effort, each member playing a specific role.
Okay, give me an example.
So you've got Robinhood. They're known for making investing accessible.
Yeah.
They bring their user-friendly platform and a huge user base.
Okay, that makes sense.
Then you have Kraken. They're a leading cryptocurrency exchange.
Right.
They provide liquidity and trading support for USDG.
So it can be easily traded.
Yeah, exactly.
What about Paxos?
They specialize in blockchain infrastructure and tokenization. So they provide the technological backbone for the whole network.
Okay, so it sounds like a really solid foundation.
Yeah, they've combined technological expertise, financial infrastructure, and a great user interface.
But it's still invite only, right?
Yeah, for now.
Why is that?
It's a strategic approach.
Okay.
They want to make sure everything's working perfectly.
Before they open it up to the public.
Exactly.
So they're kind of building the plane while they're flying it.
In a way, yeah.
But they're being very careful about it.
Absolutely.
And the partners they've chosen are all top-notch.
Yeah, they're leaders in their respective fields.
Like who else is involved in this early stage?
Well, you've got Anchorage Digital. They're a federally chartered digital asset bank. They bring expertise in security and regulatory compliance.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. And then you've got Galaxy Digital and Bullish.
Okay.
They're both big players in the crypto space.
Right.
They provide liquidity and trading support. And then there's Nuvei.
Okay, I haven't heard of.
They're a global payment processor. They're connecting the GDN to the existing payment infrastructure.
So USDG can be used for everyday transactions.
Yeah, that's the goal.
So they're really trying to make this a bridge between traditional finance and crypto.
Yeah, they're trying to create a seamless connection between the two worlds.
So what are some concrete examples of how USDG could be used in the real world?
Well, we've already talked about cross-border payments.
Right, remittances.
Yeah, imagine someone sending money back home to their family. Using USDG, they could do it instantly.
And with much lower fees than traditional services.
Exactly.
That would be life-changing for a lot of people.
It would. About businesses.
Think about a small business owner importing goods from overseas. They could pay their suppliers instantly using USDG. Okay. Without having to worry about exchange rates or transfer fees.
And it would be much faster.
Yeah, it would really streamline their operations.
So USDG could help level the playing field for small businesses.
Yeah, it could give them access to the same tools and opportunities as larger companies.
And then there's the whole DeFi aspect.
Right, decentralized finance.
How does USDG fit into that?
Well, DeFi is all about creating a decentralized financial system.
Right. No banks involved.
Exactly.
And stablecoins are becoming a key part of that.
Yeah, because they offer stability and transparency. So people can use USDG to participate in DeFi protocols.
Like lending and borrowing.
Exactly.
And they can earn those yield incentives we talked about.
Yeah, it makes USDG a very attractive asset for DeFi users.
So it's more than just a stable store of value.
Yeah, it's designed to be actively used in this new financial ecosystem. It's amazing how much potential there is in this space.
It really is.
But it's still early days, right?
Yeah, the GDN is a bold experiment. It's hard to say for sure how it will all play out.
So what are some of the key factors that will determine its success?
Well, regulatory acceptance is a big one.
Right. We talked about it.
They need to navigate the regulatory landscape carefully.
And make sure USDG is compliant.
Exactly.
Right.
User adoption is crucial.
Okay.
People need to actually start using USDG.
For it to be successful.
Yeah, they need to create a seamless user experience. Integrate USDG into existing payment systems.
Okay.
And show people why it's valuable.
So it's a chicken and egg problem.
Kind of, yeah.
You need users to adopt it, but you also need to make it attractive to users.
Exactly.
And that's where the collaboration comes in.
Yeah, by working together with different stakeholders, the GDN is trying to create an ecosystem that can overcome these challenges.
And pave the way for mass adoption.
That's the goal.
What about competition?
That's another important factor.
Right. The stablecoin market is getting pretty crowded.
Yeah, there are a lot of players out there.
So USDG will need to stand out.
Yeah, they need to differentiate themselves.
Not just through technology, but also through their partnerships and their value proposition.
Exactly.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It is.
It's like a race to the top.
Yeah, and USDG has a good head start.
But it's still early in the race.
Absolutely.
So to understand the competitive landscape a little better, I think it would be helpful to hear from some of the industry leaders.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
What are they saying about the potential of USDG and its impact on the stablecoin market?
Well, Arjun Sethi, the co-CEO of Kraken, he's pretty optimistic about USDG's potential.
Okay, what does he say?
He thinks the GDN's collaborative approach and focus on real-world applications could really disrupt the market.
In a good way.
Yeah, he believes it could lead to better consumer protections, more affordable transactions, and greater financial inclusion overall.
So a little competition could actually be a good thing?
Yeah, it could push the whole industry forward.
And benefit users in the process.
Exactly.
What about Charles Cascarilla?
He's the CEO of Paxos.
Yay.
He emphasized that the GDN was created specifically to enable widespread stablecoin adoption.
Yeah.
He sees USDG as more than just another stablecoin. He thinks it's part of a larger movement to transform the global financial system.
Wow, that's a big vision.
It is.
So they're not just focused on the short term.
No, they're thinking about the long-term impact.
And what about Robinhood? What's their perspective?
Johan Kerbrat, the VP of Robinhood Crypto,
Okay.
he believes stablecoins like USDG are essential for bridging the gap between traditional finance and digital assets.
Okay.
He envisions a future where stablecoins are seamlessly integrated into our everyday lives, making financial transactions smoother, faster, and more affordable for everyone.
So it's about making finance more accessible and efficient for everyone.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal.
It's a really compelling vision.
It is.
And it seems like USDG and the GDN are well positioned to make it happen.
They definitely have the potential.
But we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
I think it's time to step back and reflect on what we've learned.
Yeah, good idea.
What are the key takeaways that we want our listeners to remember about stablecoins and the GDN?
All right, let's distill some key insights.
So we've really gone deep into stablecoins.
Yeah, we have.
Explored the global dollar network.
The GDN.
And, really dug into their stablecoin, USDG.
It's been a fascinating discussion.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
It feels like we're seeing a real financial revolution happening.
I think so too.
Like, it's more than just a digital version of cash.
Right.
It feels like a real bridge between traditional finance and crypto.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's like we're finding that perfect balance.
Yeah.
The stability of traditional finance.
Right.
But the speed and global reach of crypto.
And the innovation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what the GDN and USDG are trying to do, right?
I think so, yeah.
Create an ecosystem where stablecoins can really thrive.
And integrate into our everyday lives.
Right. Make things easier, faster, cheaper.
For everyone.
And it's not just individuals, right?
No, not at all.
Businesses could really benefit too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Streamline global commerce, reduce costs.
Yeah, create new opportunities.
So for our listeners, what are the key takeaways about the GDN?
Well, I think the main thing is that they're building an ecosystem.
Right, not just a stablecoin.
Yeah, they've brought together some really big players from both traditional finance and crypto.
It's a really impressive team.
It is.
And they're all working together.
Towards a common goal.
And that collaborative approach is really what stands out to me.
It's unique.
They're not trying to do it all alone.
They're bringing together the best minds from different industries.
And it seems like they're really in it for the long haul.
Yeah, they have a long-term vision.
They're betting on the future of stablecoins.
They believe stablecoins will be a fundamental part of the financial system.
Okay, so the GDN is clearly a force to be reckoned with.
I think so.
USDG has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
But the stablecoin market is getting crowded.
It is. There's a lot of competition.
What are some of the challenges they might face?
Well, regulatory acceptance is still a big one.
Right, governments are still figuring out how to regulate crypto.
Exactly.
So the GDN needs to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Be proactive and ensure compliance.
And what about adoption?
Yeah, that's another big challenge.
Getting people to actually use USDG.
Right. It needs to be easy to use, integrated into existing systems.
Okay.
And people need to see the value in using it.
It's a multifaceted challenge.
It is.
But the GDN seems to be approaching it strategically.
Yeah, their focus on collaboration is key.
Bringing together different experts and perspectives.
Find solutions.
Okay, so as we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought. We've talked about stablecoins bridging traditional finance and crypto.
The bridge between the old and the new.
But what if that bridge leads to something even bigger?
Okay, I like where this is going.
What about central bank digital currencies?
CBDCs?
Yes, CBDCs.
There's a whole other layer of complexity.
What if governments start issuing their own digital currencies? How would that impact stablecoins?
It's hard to say for sure.
Would they coexist?
Yeah, would they compete?
Would stablecoins be a stepping stone to a world dominated by CBDCs?
Those are all great questions.
It's definitely something to think about as we move forward.
It is.
The world of finance is changing so rapidly.
Yeah, it's fascinating to watch.
And stablecoins are at the forefront of this change.
They're playing a key role.
It's an exciting time to be alive.
It is. The future of finance is being written right now.
So to all our listeners out there, stay curious.
Yeah.
Keep exploring.
Absolutely.
And never stop learning.
That's the key.
The future is in our hands.
We can all shape it.
Until next time, happy deep diving.
See you next time.